Autoimmune gastritis is a condition where your immune system attacks the parietal cells in your stomach lining, the same cells responsible for producing acid and intrinsic factor. When Bryan Johnson shared his diagnosis, it brought attention to a disease that most people have never heard of, despite it affecting roughly 2% of the population, predominantly women. I was diagnosed 3 years ago after years of symptoms that every doctor dismissed as stress, anxiety, or just something I was imagining. The first thing that hits you is the fatigue. Not the kind where you need a nap, but the kind where your body simply stops cooperating. Without enough intrinsic factor, your body cannot absorb vitamin B12 properly, and the deficiency creeps in slowly. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired, and somewhere in the middle, you wonder if you are losing your mind, because every blood test comes back normal until someone finally checks your B12 and your parietal cell antibodies. By the time I was diagnosed, my B12 was so low that I had numbness in my fingers and toes, brain fog that made simple conversations exhausting, and a constant nausea that made eating feel like a chore I had to survive rather than something I could enjoy. Living with it means accepting that your stomach is now a negotiation. Certain foods that never bothered me before suddenly cause hours of discomfort. Spicy food, alcohol, coffee on an empty stomach, large meals, anything too rich or too acidic, all of it becomes a calculation. I keep a mental list of what is safe and what is not, and that list changes without warning. Some weeks I can eat almost normally, other weeks even plain rice feels heavy. The inflammation comes and goes in waves, and there is no cure, only management. You learn to carry antacids, to eat smaller meals more frequently, to never skip meals because an empty stomach hurts almost as much as a full one. The part nobody talks about is the psychological weight. Autoimmune diseases are invisible. You look fine on the outside, so people assume you are fine. You cancel plans because you cannot predict how your stomach will behave. You sit through meetings fighting nausea and hoping nobody notices. You explain the condition over and over to friends and family who nod politely but don't really understand why you can't just eat what everyone else is eating. Bryan Johnson has the resources to optimize every aspect of his health, but for most of us, it's about getting through the day with whatever energy you have left and making peace with the fact that your own body decided your stomach was the enemy. What I want people to take away is that autoimmune gastritis is manageable, but it requires you to become your own advocate. Push for the right tests, specifically anti-parietal cell antibodies and intrinsic factor antibodies, not just a basic B12 level. Find a doctor who listens. Start B12 injections if you need them, because pills alone often won't work once the damage is done. Track your symptoms, track what you eat, and give yourself grace on the bad days. It's a chronic condition, but it's not a life sentence. It changes how you live, it changes how you eat, and it changes how you listen to your body. But it does not have to define who you are.